Is Hell Let Loose dying? It's me, McBluffin, your boy, your man on the ground, speaking to the common folk, the people that play this game every single day. They breathe it, they live it, they love it. But not everyone loves it. Some people think that this game doesn't even have till the end of the year. Now, if you're new around here, please subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And if I get at least 50 subscribers on this video, I will stop giving chewing gum to the homeless. Now, I've been speaking to a few friends of mine about Hell Let Loose in its current state, and the sentiment is exactly what I said at the beginning. The game is dying or already dead. People just haven't realized yet. The body is gone, the brain has not caught up. And this sentiment is coming from people that have been here since day one, or veterans that have got thousands of hours, and even some relatively new players who can already smell the decay. They can see the vultures circling. I made that more dramatic than it needed to be, but I'm trying to get you in the mindset of what people are thinking. Now, personally, I think this is a tad pessimistic, but regardless of what I think, the community sentiment has been wrung out for all of the internet to hear. It seems like Team 17 cannot put a single good foot forward. Even if they think they are making the right decision, the community seems to largely disagree almost every single time, and unfortunately, or fortunately, the community will decide the fate of this game one way or another. Now let's get some elephants out of the room. First of all, the Mortan only skin bundle. This was heavily overpriced, even if it was just 3 skins, but the fact that you could only use it on Mortan was shocking. Everyone knew this. I'm sure Team 17 knew this, but they released it anyway. And then, like I said on a stream at some point, somewhen, they will retract this almost instantly. And to be fair, in terms of Team 17 updates and communication, it was pretty instant. 2 weeks, give or take, something like that. No matter what way you look at this, it's a bit of a slap in the face. I mean, unless you're flush with cash and you have absolutely no care in the world, then it doesn't matter. And if you are one of those people, give me money, please. Stop spending it on skins in Hell Let Loose and give it to me, and I'll make more videos. Thank you very much. Now, the other problem that, honestly, I did not notice, because they never announced it, was the price hike of Hell Let Loose from 40 to 50 pounds. 50 of the King's Great British pounds is absolutely outrageous for what's on offer. Personally, even 40 felt just a little bit steep in my eyes, considering they changed it to 40 from 30 back when they took over, saying this reflected the content that would be on offer in the game, despite actually not releasing any of the content. Then they did release it, and it was a barrel of piss, basically. That's probably the best way to describe it. So £50 or $300, whatever the conversion rate is for people in the US, is just, it's insane. Honestly, like, I don't know what they're thinking. Well, no, I do know what they're thinking. They're thinking we need money because we just spent $50 billion buying this game that is dying. You know, that's pretty much what they were thinking, not realizing that this might be the thing that friggin' kills it. Anyway, so we got those big ugly elephants out the room. Let's discuss all the other things that they've done wrong. No, we are going to be objective. Now, the thing that is proving a problem is what content to actually release for Hell Let Loose. You know, aside from overpriced skins, of course. Now, if Team 17 focus on fixing bugs and trying to improve the quality of life, people moan that there is no new maps, no new factions, no new guns. And then if they bring out new maps, factions, guns, or anything like that, people are annoyed that they're not fixing the bug. Like, just from an objective standpoint, if I was Team 17 or one of the developers, I would have pulled all my hair out. I'm not to say that they're in the right or that anyone in the community is in the wrong for thinking the way they're thinking. I'm just saying it's got to be frustrating, right? For both sides. Either way you slice it, that's annoying. But for the last 2 months, Hell Let Loose player numbers have actually been going up. Slowly, sure, but they are, or were, but we'll discuss that later. Now, another game's player numbers are also going up, and that is Squad 44. And again, at least they were going up. They just announced a huge update which seems to have placated some of the more outspoken individuals who were not happy with the previous update that apparently messed loads of things up. Like I said in the last video, I have no idea what those things were. I wasn't really paying attention, but all I know is people were sad and now they're happy again because they released something like 30 new tanks into the game. Like an insane amount of tanks. The downside is they all sound like little remote control cars, so it's not that great. Now, I know that a lot of people-ish really enjoy Squad 44, and they've moved over from Hell Let Loose to play this game. That's great. I'm glad that they've found somewhere that suits them better. People that have watched any of my streams, have watched my videos on the subject, I'm not a massive fan of Squad 44. I appreciate the things that they have done right, and that there are some, for sure. But for me, it just wasn't the same feel. Hell Let Loose has something different to offer for me, and I prefer it. Having said that, Squad 44 is shoveling out the content at a much faster rate than Hell Let Loose can keep up with. And if this continues, more people will leave Hell Let Loose and go to Squad 44. Will it be enough to kill Hell Let Loose and completely restore Squad 44 to its former glory, or even beyond? I don't know. I don't think so, personally, because the majority of the Hell Let Loose player base have picked Hell Let Loose because it is more hardcore than a Battlefield or Call of Duty game, but it's not so hard that they just get frustrated because all they're doing is building this, that, or the other, or some dude's shouting at them because he's not following the correct procedure. You know? So I think Hell Let Loose is that perfect middle ground, and that is one of the reasons why I don't think it will die, at least not by the end of the year, like some people like to think. But the thing that probably is drawing a lot of people in is, one, obviously, some people do want that milsim experience. They want that real to life, as close as you can get anyway, military experience. And on top of that, there's content that they actually want that's on the way. They've promised the Pacific already. Hell Let Loose hasn't even looked in the direction of the Pacific, at least as far as we know, not publicly anyway. So, with all these issues laid bare, the skirt hiked up, the knickers hanging off, how are we going to fix this? How do we get Hell Let Loose to be the final word in World War II shooters? Now, in my eyes, it still is. And yes, I do want more for the game. I'm not just going to sit here and say it's perfect the way it is, leave it alone, no more needs doing. That's ridiculous. Plus, my channel literally depends on it, so fingers crossed. So what is it that people want? This is a great place to start, and probably where Team 17 should start when they start thinking about content updates. The downside is people want quite a bit. Now, I've covered things like Japan and the Pacific War in great length in a video. Lots of people watched it. No one actually agreed with me. I think 10 people agreed with me, but that's fine. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, link down in the description. But the things that people really want are the British fleshed out with more maps, more Eastern Front maps, better tank damage models, role refinement, mortars, get rid of the artillery, sniper meta, also get rid of the artillery, replace it with the mortars, change the gunplay so it's not so arcadey, more commander call-ins, more good game modes, and fix every bug, and a partridge on a bloody pear tree. Now, every single one of these can get... No, they are very reasonable requests. I mean that. They genuinely are. And not one single person in the community was asking for another US versus Germany in the bushes map. I can guarantee that. I will bet money on it. But I did enjoy Mortain, I'll be honest. And we know for a fact that the next map coming out by Team 17 is another US versus Germany in the snow map. Now, every new map that is announced makes me happy. It genuinely does. Any new map is great. Until we play it and we all hate it, obviously. But Team 17's finger is far from the pulse on this one. It's up a bum or something. Oh, no, you can take a pulse from a butthole, can't you? Can you take someone's pulse through their anus? Can you take someone's pulse through their anus? What? Rectal examination. I'm not getting any answers here. Why do I feel my pulse in my anus? A pulsating sensation can be present in an abdominal aortic aneurysm. Although this is a very uncommon cause of pulsating sensation, painful bowel movements can be related to anal fissures, hemorrhoids, or constipation. These symptoms may occur at the same time due to related or unrelated conditions. Right, so we'll go with no, and their finger is up their bum. There we go. Now, one small way I've thought of, and I've said it before, to fix the, lack of content or the lack of British content is have the night variants of St. Mary-Glees and St. Marie-de-Mont, have them with the British versus German. Because, obviously, there are British glider planes strewn about both those maps, indicating that British paratroopers came down in gliders, landed, done all their business in the evening, and then in the morning, it's the US. So why not have that as an option, a variation to those maps? It's nighttime, you come in as the British, fight the Germans, and then if you wanted to be awesome on your server, the next morning is the same map, so it's St. Mary-Glees again, but it's offensive and you play as the US. I feel like that wouldn't take very long to set up. It would be a welcome change. I'm sure people would be happy to try this out. And if they need to make a little bit more scratch, just release some airborne skins and, don't charge a lot for it. And boom. That's a quick and easy fix with quite minimal effort, I would say. Come on, Team 17, I'm doing your friggin' jobs for you here. Oh my goodness. Will this fix the game? No, of course it won't. Will it be a nice little change in between actual new maps and new factions? Yes, I think most people would enjoy trying this out, personally. I could be very wrong. I've been wrong in the past, once or twice, sure. Now, some people are actually against new factions altogether, for now at least, just because the last 2 factions that got introduced have barely had any content given to them. The British have 2 maps, one people absolutely hate, and the other one is El Alamein, boom, roasted. And the Russians have 3. Now, Kharkov is a great map, Stalingrad is a great map, and Kursk is a horrifying map, but it's great. But again, both those factions just got introduced and dumped. We have plenty of US-themed maps in the countryside. Let's just get stuck in with some of the other factions. With the British, it's an unlimited supply almost. You could have The Retreat from France, Operation Market Garden, just more in Africa, Mediterranean. There's just so many options that could be utilized here. I do honestly think that if they focused on British maps primarily, then also Russian maps, it would draw a lot more people back in, because people have been playing the US versus Germany since the game launched. Not to say that people don't enjoy doing it, but things get stale after a while. So introducing more maps with these new factions honestly would just bring in so many more people. The British have been fixed, if you want to call it that. They're much more competitive now. You can actually play them and not feel like you're getting steamrolled. So I think the time to invest in British maps is definitely now. And unfortunately, their focus is on US maps and bug fixing, which is good because they are trying to fix the bugs. The downside is they'll fix 1 or 2 bugs and they'll generate another 3 to 4. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Team 17, but I'm also not trying to sit here and vilify them at the same time like a lot of other people do. I am trying my best to be objective and look at both sides. I can see why the community is angry and frustrated, but at the same time I can see that they're being sometimes a little bit over the top with their feedback, shall we say. As for the developers, I do think they're doing a good job. I just think that they're maybe not as well equipped for what the job is. Now, this is coming from someone who has no idea really about game development, so I cannot criticize these people that much. But as a community member, someone who plays the game, I try and promote anything that they do well as pointing the finger at anything they do badly. Anyone who's watched any of my videos or streams knows I try not to come down too hard on either side. Well, maybe the community a little bit, but that's not necessarily for their treatment of Team 17. That's other things that are also hilarious. Objectivity is the way forward, and I will stand by that until I drop dead. Now, Team 17 have definitely made some blunders. The downside is, even when they do something good, all that is lost most of the time due to the sentiment of the vocal angry people who are blind to anything they do positively and just focus on the negative. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot, but to just focus on the negative is ridiculous. You need to focus on both. Now, at the time of recording this video, Squad 44 has gained 337 players in the last 30 days, while Hell Let Loose has lost over 500 after it actually had quite a large surge of players, relatively speaking, presumably from the free weekend and the sale of the game. Now, this is expected. With this game, it peaks and troughs in terms of popularity due to updates and things like that. But it's also not what you want to see. You want to see this game constantly getting new players. Unless you are already a player and then presumably you fucking hate them. It's a very strange situation to watch from the sidelines of everyone hates the new players, but if you don't get the new players, the game will definitely die. And I'm not saying that some new players are trash and horrible. They are. I haven't met them yet. I seem to keep finding the nice ones. However, you got to remember, a lot of people are coming from different styles of games. They're getting thrust into quite an intense learning experience, and then they got people shouting them to do things. I would probably have a fucking panic attack if I was doing this for the first time now. But hey, that's me. And I'm not saying that you don't have a right to be angry about new players. You do, but you got to remember, if you scare them all off, the game will die. Does this all mean death for Hell Let Loose? No, I don't think so. Not now, anyway. But it may just get stuck if they don't pull their finger out soon. I've covered this so many different times over different aspects of what Hell Let Loose needs, what it should be doing, what it's done wrong, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, to be honest. Like, I'm sure I've said all of this before, but they just need to try and focus more on what the actual average player wants, rather than a half-baked new game mode or another US map. People want British knees and Russian hats. It's that simple. Also, fix bugs. I don't usually like making negative videos. Like, I know I made the most hated player videos, but they are like, it's a joke. I'm just being an idiot deliberately. I prefer making happy stupid stuff to make people laugh, or occasionally go, ooh, that was cool. But I do feel like this needs addressing in some way, so that was it, me addressing it. I will resume back to hilarious, funny content that no one's watching. So, like I said at the beginning, if you want me to stop feeding chewing gum to homeless people, please subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, join the Discord for a great little community of weirdos, and I will see you all in the next one.